If you live in or travel throughout Vermont's farm country, then you have likely encountered the many different forms of agricultural machinery on the road known as implements of husbandry, or IOH. IOH are a classification of machines that are permitted to use public roads so long as their activity is in the service of agriculture. Their permitting allows for a wide variety of exemptions, which in turn allow for a wide variety of machines. These IOH exemptions allow machines that would normally be considered too heavy, too wide, and too polluting to use public roads, virtually free of charge. This amounts to a costly double standard. An intensive study from a Midwestern coalition of states made a positive link between excessive axle weight of IOH and road failure. In this film, I have chose to focus on the manure hauler because I believe that their impacts on society are the most egregious, and therefore offer the best example for articulating the high cost of duality in our regulations. These tractor manure tanker combinations can weigh as much as 120,000 pounds while traveling over roads and bridges that are not designed for this routine abuse. So while this overweight, overwidth, underregulated IOH gets to use less costly off-road dyed fuel for on-road activities, the dump truck in this scene must undergo thorough inspections. Its operator must pay thousands in permits and licensing fees for a legal rig and driver. The truck must travel within its designated lane and burn fully taxed diesel fuel. Who is paying for it? Property taxes, along with state and federal grants, are being consumed in an attempt to maintain and in many cases upgrade infrastructure that is lasting roughly half as long as foremen would expect. An additional double standard enjoyed by the dairy industry can be seen here in the dust clouds kicked up by traffic, further subjecting communities to inhaled fecal particulates generated by dairy. Manure in mud, tracked off of croplands during fieldwork, ultimately winds up in our ditches, where it flows into greater waterways. Is this 4% backroad accounting correct? Isn't this a cropland problem? As runoff from an established hayfield intersects with runoff from a former cornfield now replanted as a hayfield, we can clearly see the nutrient and soil loss, as well as excessive water volume being imposed upon our municipal roadside ditches. When farmland is cultivated to meet a singular criteria of maximum crop output without any consideration for holding the watershed this industry creates, society pays the price. This early summer cropland runoff is headed for Dead Creek watershed, which flows into Otter Creek, which dumps into Lake Champlain. This late winter cropland runoff begins its journey headed downhill, routinely overwhelming the ditch, which in turn washes out the roadside. Cropland runoff, now mixed with road material, washes into a wetland. Next stop, the lake. And here, The full brunt of a failed agency of agriculture can be seen as a dairy mudslip of untold nutrient, soil, and roadbed material loss accumulated in full view of our county's water treatment plant.